Back, and it's time to talk with our good friend Sally Cunningham. And Sally, you brought with you, I'm not a gardening expert by any means, you are, but you see this is beautiful. This reminds me of spring, and when you think of spring, you think Easter.
This is spring, and this is spring bulbs that will be blooming. The daffodils are nicely blooming outside already, but this little arrangement is some of the bulbs that were forced to bloom earlier than they normally would. They smell wonderful. It's a real pleasure. But I want to tell you, when you do get these arrangements, whether it's for Easter or a spring decor, you can put them in the ground after they finish. So when these daffodils finish, just cut the flower and the stem off and keep the greens going. And as soon as you get a chance, stick them in the ground and they will all come back for next year. Quite an easy thing to do, and why waste the investment?
All right, we have our first caller of the morning. We have Arlene from Buffalo. Good morning, Arlene. What's your question?
Yes, good morning. My question is, I have hydrangeas in front of my home, about 5 bushes of them, and I'd like to know, do I nip off the dry flowers, or do they automatically fall by themselves?
Good question. In nature, flowers fall off eventually so the next flower can come along. But for ourselves, where we want it a little bit neater, go ahead and nip off just the flower head where it dried. Behind it on stems are forming the flower buds for this year. So just nip off the dead flowers now a little bit and it'll look tidier while you're waiting for the new ones. Good question.
Also from Buffalo this morning is Gloria. Good morning, Gloria.
Good morning, Chad. Yes, I have a question. I have a mass cane indoor plant, and it has a lot of little bugs or something like little flies that's on it. Could you give me advice how to get rid of them?
Sure. A lot of indoor plants do develop especially problems at this time of year because they've just had it with winter like the rest of us. They really have had too much hot and dry. They want to be outside. Two possibilities. They may be fungus gnats, which are in too much moisture. So pick up the plant debris. Don't leave it wet and soggy around the base of the plant. They could be that, and there's no big deal. They will go away when it dries out. With the white flies, if they're little tiny white flies, you might get an insecticidal soap labeled for indoor use. There are very benign, health-friendly pesticides that you still could use for an indoor plant, and just read the labels and only use an indoor plant product.
Let's go to North Tonawanda. Bob. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. I have a question about I have a little baby lilac bushes I planted like 2 years ago. They're only about a foot and a half tall. And at the end of last year, there were little buds on the end of every branch, and something ate every bud off. Oh. I wonder if that's going to be okay. And one more question. Is it too early to put down lawn seed?
Okay, good questions. You can seed your lawn anytime. Some people even do it in late fall. So scratch it up, try to get the weeds out. You can seed the lawn now. As for the small young lilacs, bunnies could have nipped those little buds off while they're short lilacs. Deer could have nipped them. I'm not sure where you live. Anything could have. As the lilacs mature, they are one of the plants that most animals don't eat. And you're lucky that they were already forming buds. Some people wait 4 years for a lilac to flower because they don't like to be transplanted. So, hey folks, there's an Enviro Fair this Thursday coming up in Buffalo. Look up buffaloenvirofair.com. It's 11 to 2 at Niagara Square. And all the vendors that have something to teach you, all the educators are there, whether it's a Buffalo River Keeper rain barrel or something about solar power and wind energy. It's all there. Go on and maybe I'll see you there.
All right. Well, thanks, Sally. Appreciate it. We'll see you here next week.